he said to me, Mom, if they take me to Jamaica, what bus do I have to take to get me back here to
Yeah.
see you in Dudley? And that is a child that they say nobody's doing.
This is an urgent appeal to my viewers and the autistic community at large. In a few weeks, a vulnerable autistic man, Osime Brown, will be transported to a detention centre facing imminent deportation from the UK to Jamaica, a country he has not seen since the age of 4 and he has no connections with. He has served 2 years of a 5-year sentence for a crime he did not commit at age 16, the alleged theft of a mobile phone. He is in critical condition in prison, both physically and psychologically, but we still have a small amount of time to put pressure on the UK government to act. I recently talked to his mother, Joan, which you'll be watching for the rest of this video. You will notice I'm running ads on this video, and all ad revenue will be donated to the GoFundMe. So if you aren't in a position to donate, please don't skip the ads. If Black lives matter, then Black autistic lives must matter too. So if you put up a black square on social media earlier this year and declared that Black lives matter, then this is the action that you need to take. Click on the Linktree link down below, sign the petition, share it, donate to the GoFundMe, and if you're a UK citizen, write to your MP, write to the Home Office, write to Priti Patel, because we need a lot of people to make a lot of noise now. So on with the interview. So hi, I am here with Joan Martin, mother of Osime, and how are you doing today, Joan? Because there was a demonstration on Friday, wasn't there, in London?
Yes, there was. Roughly 100 people, and they were quite engaged, knowing that amidst the circumstances of the COVID, and the coronavirus, people do come out, and the lockdown as well. I really appreciate that and was grateful to see so many of them turn out, just to support me and, to try to strengthen me. And sometimes I just get weary, but just to support me and give me strength, to strengthen me on this path that I have to tread.
Can you give a brief introduction to your son, Osime, like how old he is and where he is right now?
Well, Osime Brown, his name is Osime Brown, and he is 21. And although he has a mental age of a 67-year-old child, and he's currently serving a sentence in prison in Stockholm prison at the moment.
He's diagnosed autistic, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is. And he was late to diagnose because I have a challenging time to get him diagnosed, even from school. He was classed as being disruptive and being rude and attention seeking.
Yeah.
And he was ridiculed, and punished, excluded from school. And they only give him punitive intervention. I have begged, I've pleaded with them that something is wrong. I even took him to the doctors, and they told me that, the school is best to assess him because they have him with them every day and see his behavior. But they didn't. They did not. I keep knocking on doors, knocking, and no one listened to me until he was 17 years old before they assessed him. And I have to get him access. I have to beg the doctor to do it this time. I said, please, my child is going to end up where he should not be because he's misunderstood. No one is listening to the cries, having meltdown, and no one listening to him. When he has these meltdown, they said how he's rude and he's just seeking attention. And he's crying out for help, and no one listened. In school, they locked him away in isolation for days. Sometimes he will be there every week. He goes in, he misses his class and all that because they put him in isolation with no work to do.
Can you explain a little bit about how he came to be serving the sentence? What age happened, with the incident with the mobile phone, how old he was then, and how many years he served? Because he's partway through the sentence, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Well, it started when 2016, and the incident took place. I wasn't there, but so I'm going off what the witness that was there. It was the victim friend that told us how it went, because she didn't even know that my son was being locked up for robbery. So when I phoned her, she said to me, because someone gave me her number, said she was at the scene. And so I phoned her to said, what happened? And she said to me, what? There was no robbery. And then she started to tell me that the other boy, this other white lad, took a phone from her friend and did not return it. But when she said there was a little scuffle going on, kids scuffling, and then she was speaking to my son, Asim, and Asim shouted over to them and said, stop it. When Asim said that, it's all ended there. And on her way back to the bus station, her friend said to her, the other lad took my phone and didn't give it back to me. That was it. So when she heard about all this going on, she said this, and she said it in court. She said, Asim did nothing. He was talking to me. He tried to stop this what's the word? Scuffle.
Scuffle, yeah.
Scuffling, yeah, that was going on. But he didn't do anything, and they still sentenced my child based on hearing that from the witness to 5 years in prison. But I think it's because he's black and he could not, and autistic as well.
Yeah.
And he could not relate to them. He couldn't, even in court, he stood up on the side of the witness box and pointing to himself to say, there I am, because he didn't comprehend what was happening to him and did not know. And the judge was gloating on it. I think he said, oh, wow, I think you have helped us all by showing where you are. And he's just vulnerable,
That's just immensely cruel as well, because a mobile phone is worth, what is it worth? Is it really worth 5 years in prison to start with? And for something that didn't happen, it's really seems like it was cruelty based.
Yeah, it was. And it's also what they're saying, they base it on the fact, because after that happened, the victim friend, that's another one. That's why we believe that he was all set up, because she sent him, you on Facebook, and you will understand how Facebook works. If you make a group, you don't have to tell someone to add you. Somebody can add you to the group without even your knowledge.
Yeah.
So they did that to him. And with his vulnerability, he said to one of them on the group, just write something to said, stop lying on me. I did not, I did not do anything, just innocently. So they got him for perverting the course of justice by saying that. So that is what happened to him. And he's languishing in prison now. He's suffering. They treat him less than an animal. I'm telling you, worse, I should say, than an animal. They bullied him. He called me sometime crying, Mom, when are you coming to get me? When are you coming to get me? Knowing, and me as a mom, knowing I can't get my son, it breaks my heart. It's breaking my heart, and it's very sad, very sad. Very sad.
The reason that I contacted you more urgently is because there was movement in his case. Can you explain the significance of October 7th? Because it's very soon now. And why on earth he's now facing deportation?
Because of the hostile environment that the government has, with this immigration law. Now they're not thinking about him having a heart problem as well, because I believe, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
I believe that because of this antipsychotic medication that they have been giving my child, that has led him now to have a heart problem that he did not have before. He had his ECG before he went into prison, and nothing was wrong with his heart. And now they're saying that it is genetic.
Oh
No
my
one is
gosh.
in our family as has a heart problem, nor his family. And because we came from a very small district where we know everybody. So that is not no trait of our family heart problems.
Yeah.
And now if he walks very far, he will fall over. And he cannot go to a detention center or even deported because of his vulnerability. And on the 7th of October now, they have issued him with a letter wherein he will be removed from prison to a detention center in preparation for deportation.
And can you clarify how old he was when he came to this country?
He was only 4 years old. Nothing. He has never been back.
Yeah.
Nothing about Jamaica, because in his own vulnerability, I should say, he said to me, "Mom, if they take me to Jamaica, what bus do I have to take to get me back here
Yeah.
to see you in Dudley?" And that is a child that they say know what he's doing. He takes you literally as you speak to him. I know that he was so vulnerable because I have to keep one eyes out all the time when he was a small child, because I know. But Sam, it's hard. It's very hard to be a Black person in this country. It's like a life sentence to grief. When I wake up, I cry for my baby. I don't want to cry. No, I want to just say what I have to say. But it's not easy. I even end up with depression and anxiety. Through I have to be fighting for my child, and it should not be so. We are all one. We may have different complexion, but we are all one. And treat us. We want to be treated as human beings. This should not be happening. If I wasn't ignored from school, social service, and the justice system, and they had listened to me as a mother and helped, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Not at all.
I wouldn't be talking to you. You maybe wouldn't hear about me. We are where we are, and we have to stand up and stand together and make a difference. Asim has suffered, and we cannot undo what he has been through, but we can make it better for someone else if
Yeah.
we all pull together and help.
Well, let's talk about the ways that the people watching can make it better for Osim and for you, because there are still things that we can do to help. The autistic community is sometimes very, very fragmented, but we have to be united around cases like this. We have to protect our own. So for the people who live in the UK, what can they do to help? They can write to their MP, is that right?
Yes, they can write to their MP. They can keep bombarding the Home Office with Piti Patel with letters of freeing Osime Brown and to get her to do a U-turn on the cruel stand that they have for an autistic young child. I'll say child because it's my son, and I see him as my baby. He is my baby.
And he was
you know.
sentenced as a child, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. They
So,
waited until he's 18. The crime that they presume happened was when he was under. So they waited for 2 years before they bring this to light.
yeah,
When the other boys that did it, they were taken to court and dealt with 2 years before, and I heard that they got community service, and then one of them was evoked after 6 months,
yeah.
and then my child is in prison suffering.
So
It
for the UK residents can write to their MP, write to the Home
Yeah,
Office. I think is probably even more effective now.
yes.
Have a GoFundMe as well.
Yes, we do have a GoFundMe. That's why I was saying that it's on the link tree. All information that people required is
Yeah.
there, but they would have to go to Free Asim Brown on Facebook.
Hmm.
And also we have a page on Instagram, and it is
Yeah.
Justice for Asim Brown. And
Hmm.
there's also on Twitter, Free Asim Brown, Ash Free Asim Brown
Yeah.
on Twitter as well. And you can find the GoFundMe there and the petition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there.
I mean, if everybody can also just share the petition, sign it and share the GoFundMe,
Yeah,
even if they can't donate, watch the ads on this video. All of
yeah.
this will be going towards the fund. Just try and create as much noise as we can in the last couple of weeks that we have to make this change. Is there anything else that you would like to say? I mean, you've pretty much kind of laid it all out there, and it's now for us to take action. But is there anything else that you can think of that would be important for people to know?
Our government, its department and institution that were set up to protect us, the citizen from harm, so often fail the ones they should serve. So from our school system, social service, the criminal justice system, and the police, for many vulnerable people, those institutions are not seen as protecting, but have become punitive, insensitive, detached, abusive, and hostile to those they should protect. They often act with impunity. The system's solution to deal with their uncomfortable problem and responsibility is to offload them by issuing the autistic child with a letter stating that on the 7th of October, he will be taken to a detention center in preparation for deportation to Jamaica. This is a snippet of the brutality that my family has experienced. As a Black woman with an autistic child, over the past years, we have come to realize that to be Black and falling into the iron grip of this institution can be a life sentence of grief, rejection, and pain. I really need help for my baby, and I need you all to help. I always said silence is violence. And if we all stand together, we can do this.
Well, let's
Thank
see what we
you.
can do in the next couple of weeks. And I just appreciate you coming on and talking to me. And let's get this. Let's give it another kick. Let's make noise to Priti Patel, who does not have a reputation for being kind to anyone. Maybe let's do what we can, and try and make a change here. Try and get somebody to see sense out of this case.
Yeah,
Um,
I really do. And I want to thank you for reaching out to us in this time of great sadness
yeah, sure.
and to help give me a voice and to share my story. This is just a snippet of the story. As I said, it's a lot, but I am grateful. And I hope people can share it far and wide.
Yeah.
And help put a stop to this cruel system. and help people to see us as humans.
Yeah.
And not as hanging fruits. Thank you so much.